Hello guys, it's me DJ Panda here, and guess what? I'm doing another creepypasta because one of my friends insists. Yes, insists. Today I'll be reading Ed and Eddie Lost episode 34. Yes, this I was just watching on YouTube just like a minute ago. So let's just get started. As you may know, the popular Ed and Eddie has been running for a long time. However, between October 7th, 2003 and October 21st, 2003, episode 34 was accidentally released 1 week before it was supposed to. It also known to be sorry. It was also known to some around the office that the primary writer has been sick with the flu. Instead of going on to make episode 34, the show was supposed to replay episode 1 at 5 p.m. Eastern. People reported a very disturbing new episode premiering on Cartoon Network. Some kids were unfortunately enough to see it. Apparently, the quality of the episode was medic mentor, which held to regular standards. Animation was choppy, sounds with constricted and very muffled. Reports of a line running up and down simply to creep as similar to a derpy VSH tape were received. Scanners sensors were detected as overwhelming, dark, and depressing without changing props in the background objects stormy looking. Characters also behaved oddly. Instead of the normal, goofy hijacks inspired people. Sorry, guys, I'm really tired. Person, per, person, personally, you know, viewers complained they seemed extremely agitated, gruely hateful towards each other, and constantly about to begin sobbing after the lines. The protagonist also had a very big slip. No one knew why, but he spoke with a sexy tone and therefore bothered the viewers. With I was one of those viewers. The episode began with Ed walking down the street with Eddie. Uh, I note that Ed was missing. There was an angled shot coming from in front of the two, showing them walking towards the viewer. He Eddie was wearing the angry look he does when something goes wrong. His eyes were red around his eye lens. Eddie looked absolutely forlorn and particularly dragged behind Eddie, tears in his eyes, which were both lazy and looked like opposite outward directions. Kevin, the series antagonist, was riding his bike opposite of Eddie towards them. The shot began blurry and low moans and were coming from Eddie before Kevin hit him, which never happened because the screen went black. The screen then snapped back to Kevin was again ahead of Eddie. The view was so blurry this time all I could see was a green blob heading towards the yellow one. Again the low moans, only this time it sounded like microphone was broken and loud static came, greatly overshadow the moans. A claimant screen of Double D sleeping in Eddie's bed came up. Honestly, it may just have been the abruptness, but I jumped and shivered. Waking up and getting out of bed, he moved oppositely and over the circular room. He fast patter pasting of his footsteps became the only audio. The steps sounded very clear, as was saw a bird eye of him scraping around the room. There was no visible doors. Ed began screeching, sounds like a fisher cat, as he moved wildly around the cell of a room faster and faster until the screen became blurry again. The purple room color swallowed a now orange blur. An extreme close up of Eddie's front door sat in absolute silence for a meddling long time, at least 2 minutes of dead silence and a door. Next, we see Jimmy and Sarah at a doctor's of some sort, probably oral. Jimmy, Berkshire in view, hanging lamp, is crying loudly, and Sarah's trying to comfort him, and unusual with warm feminine. It hurts, Sarah. It hurts. Suddenly, the doctor of the room in slammed open by a new character, a dentist. Its face wouldn't seem shown because he was tall enough to be out of the shot. Sarah was escorted out of the room. Jimmy was shown. His headgear was mangled. His front was bent towards, scraping his lips very wide, tears tearing proportionally. The front of his gums was dripping blood, and teeth were missing. This obvious part had been lost. Both arms and legs beheaded, absolutely such as a. I almost cried as I came to the conclusion of the others had beaten him up and bent his headgear. The camera stayed on his mangled face for a few seconds, still like as a picture silent as ever. Commercials came on. We instantly saw a very hairy rifle in the darkness shed, fishing the cow rapidly. This version looped and get blurry again, and scene panned out. Naz is really reading a magazine on his couch. The quality is now perfect. Ed is now alone with Eddie. The quality ceases worsen than before, and he is still walking. The sun's now lighting the mood somewhat as smile and began running. Dort shone again and see through Eddie's eyes as reaching and opening it. His house is nice and bright, but very badly played violin is brilliant. The only audio in the scene is making his way through the house. Eddie opens the door to his room. Johnny, shown under Niz's couch, as crawling out of all four of the comic ways and pop up behind her. Just always, I laughed because everyone forgot to drew his eyes, and that took